On February 26th and 27th, the Coquitlam Art Club held its fall showing at Dogwood Pavilion. Bill Atfield of Arts Connect was there and brings us this report.
I've been painting off and on for the last 20 years. I've enjoyed doing this and I've taken classes at the Dogwood Senior Centre. I prefer acrylics and I quite enjoy watercolour as well.
So what brought me to the arts, I was actually in a car accident and sustained concussion. And so I started painting as a way of learning how to see the world and make my brain work. So that's how I came to this about 4 years ago. I paint acrylic and watercolor. I've just started painting pastel, so that's really new, like a week old. And I'm part of the Coquitlam Arts Club, and we meet once a week. So with all of the artists that are here today, and what's cool about it is that you can see one artist might be working pastel, another artist might be doing acrylic, somebody might be doing cards or small items, but you have this cohort or of colleagues that you can go around and find inspiration from each one of them. One might be painting a house, another flowers, another abstract. So myself, I do abstract. And I actually have a couple of pieces where I actually on purpose turn the art, 180 degrees, and you see something else in it. And that was using watercolor and salt as a paint. And then there's other quite wild and crazy things over at the end as well too. I am not a conventional artist. I try to do what my instructors are telling me to do. Something just twitches in my brain and then I'm off. There are Federation artists here, people who belong to the Canadian Federation of Artists, who are here today, to beginners like myself, who just follow my paintbrush and learn as we go. Well, I hope people will, if they weren't able to come down, that they'll look for the Coquitlam Art Club, talk to Dogwood, and if they're all interested, then they'll look after them and they can come paint with us. It's a pretty great group of people. Come have some fun.
I started painting watercolors first of all, and so it's one of my favorites. I still love watercolors, and that's what I teach. I teach beginner watercolor classes up here at Dogwood. I also paint in acrylics, and I have several paintings around here that are acrylics as well. But I have also painted in using French dyes on silk. And I've also done alcohol inks and a little bit of oils, a little bit of everything. However, watercolors is my #1 favorite, and acrylics comes #2. We're a club of about 35 individuals. They paint in all mediums. You name it, we do it here. We're basically a senior group. We're under the umbrella of the Dogwood Senior Society here at Dogwood. We meet once a week and paint together on Wednesdays. On occasion we'll have a meeting, but most of the time it's sort of a social thing where we get together together and we paint and interact, and that's the nice thing about painting.
Well, that's a great way for seniors to spend their time.
It's wonderful.
To
Yeah.
experience their talents.
Yes.
And experiences others in talent.
Yes.
Others' talents.
Yeah, and when we get together, if there's ever a question, or how do I do this or how do I do that, one of the things that you can always count on is somebody will have an opinion to tell you how you can do that. But it's a nice group of people, very friendly and very welcoming. So.
And just how long have you been at it?
I painted when I was very young, when I was in high school, but then I was a high school teacher for 35 years, so I didn't have a lot of time to paint during then, and that was my number one promise to myself when I retired. That's what I would do, paint. And so I've been retired now for 14 years, so I've been painting for 14 years. Started first with the watercolors and then moved into the other media as well.
That's great. That's a great way to slip into old age.
It is. Not too old, but
no.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Dave. Thank you very kindly.
Thank you. Thank you.
With me now is Shirley Gautsky.
I've been painting watercolor for about the last 8 years. Prior to that, I was working full-time, so didn't have too much time for it. But since I've moved to Coquitlam, I found some wonderful opportunities at Dogwood to learn more about this beautiful medium of watercolor.
That is great. And the subject matter you prefer to paint?
Well, pretty clearly it's flowers, but I like the outdoors. I'm a gardener, so I enjoy being out there, and flowers are fairly forgiving to paint.
Yes. How about the flower pollinators? The
Oh, yes,
hummingbirds?
yes. Well, I tell you what, we have probably about 6 or 7 hummingbird feeders in our yard that my husband ends up filling on a daily basis in the summer and keeps them warm over the winter. So we keep the hummingbirds around, and so they're a good subject matter.
Yes. As beautiful as flowers.
Yes.
It's colorful.
Yes, and they thrive together, don't they?
Yes, they do. One feeds the other.
Yes, indeed.
Darker brown. Throw some green in there. This can see if we can get like a chocolatey color.